Hey everyone, it's Rose and welcome back to my channel. These are some of my favorite types of videos to make. I have done a few before. I think I'm going to make it into a playlist because I do want to make it a sort of series on my channel. But in today's video we are going to be finishing some series I'm in the middle of. This is going to be a spoiler-free reading vlog, and we're going to pick up a few series that I either have a book left or I'm in the middle and there's a few books left, and we're just going to complete some of those series that I really am enjoying. And I don't know why I haven't already finished them. So we're starting off strong because I'm in my Stephen King era. I love his books so much, and I don't read them once in a while. I will binge read them once in a while. Like if I pick up a Stephen King book, I will read 5 in a row and then not touch them for a couple months. And I've just finished my second one, so of course we're going to be starting this vlog off by reading a couple more from him. And the first series we're going to finish is the Mr. Mercedes trilogy. This is a thriller crime trilogy. Of course it's Stephen King, so there are some horrific things too. The first book's called Mr. Mercedes. I just finished it and rated it 4 stars. Like I said, it is technically crime thriller, but Stephen King is a horror author. This book is horrific. It is so hard to read. It goes into so much graphic detail about such horrible things because obviously he is used to writing horror. He does not beat around the bush. Please check content warnings. But the premise of this book is basically there's a Mr. Mercedes killer. There's a guy that is in a Mercedes that he stole, and he plows into this field of people and kills people, injures people, disables people. And it is about a retired cop who, that was like his last case, and he never got to solve it and find out who the guy was. And then he gets is it an email or is it a letter? I think it's a letter from someone claiming to be Mr. Mercedes and like taunting him. And he wants to figure out who it is. He wants to get back on the case, but he's retired, so the stuff he's doing is not technically legal because he doesn't have the same rights he did when he was actually a police officer. So he's technically impersonating a police officer. But it has one of my favorite characters that we meet in this book, and I know that she eventually gets her own book. There are so many appearances that she is in so many different books, and I'm so excited to continue this trilogy. So we have books 2 and 3 here. Books 2 is Finders Keepers and book 3 is End of Watch. So of course this is the one I'm going to start off with, Finders Keepers. I'm pretty sure this is like another case and it goes back and forward in time. There's a murder and he steals all these notebooks that are unpublished novels from the person he murders, this famous author, and then he goes to jail for a different crime and he's like hidden the notebooks away, and then years later this teenage boy finds all the notebooks, and I guess the guy's gonna get out of prison and try and hunt them down. And then the retired cop is coming back in this book with the 2 other people that he kind of met in this one and became like his team, and I am so excited to read this book. And then of course we have End of Watch, which I'll read after, but I don't really want to look at the back because I don't want to spoil anything. So it is like 11 p.m. right now. I don't know why I always do this to myself when I read Stephen King, is I read it really late at night and then I get too scared to sleep. So this is not a good idea, but I'm itching to pick this book up. So I'm about to go sit in bed. I'm gonna get the puppies for company so that I don't get too freaked out, and I'm gonna get some reading done and I'll update you with my thoughts, keeping it spoiler free of course. I am about 60% of the way into Finders Keepers now. I am on part 3. I'm really enjoying this book. I will say I'm not loving it as much as Mr. Mercedes so far, just because I'm not loving the evil characters. Like I loved to hate the evil character in book 1, and I feel like I'm missing the core 3 of the other book. Like they're in this but nowhere near as much so far, but I am on part 3 and I think we're going to get a lot more of them in that bit. I am having a good time. I don't know what I'm gonna rate it, like I'm not feeling a rating yet, so I'm just probably gonna finish this off now actually. It is the next day by the way, and I guess I'll get back to you with a rating. Hello, so I finished Finders Keepers. I ended up rating this book 3 stars. I don't think I've ever rated a Stephen King book 3 stars. I unfortunately think this book falls into second book syndrome with trilogies, where he needed to have more of a time jump between book 1 and book 3 for what's going to happen in book 3 to happen. So this just went off a different side road. We went off on a completely different plot, and I was just missing the first one and wanted to get to the third one. So unfortunately it was not the most amazing book ever, but it's still Stephen King, and I love Holly Gibney, okay? She is me in a lot of ways. And I know she's not the most likable character, but I'm telling you right now, that girl is autistic. It's been mentioned a few times that she has a lot of neurodivergent quirks. Even to go so far as saying like Asperger's like, which I know is an outdated term, but I don't think it was when this book came out. So like, he's not outright said Holly Gibney is autistic, but she gets her own book, so like maybe it's gonna come out, but if not, I see myself in this woman, okay? Anyway, so now we move on to the book I have been waiting for, End of Watch. This is the third book in the trilogy, and once I've read this, it will get a series off my TBR. This is what I wanted out of this book. Like, we're going back to a continuation of the events of book 1. I'm gonna pretend this wasn't part of it because I loved Mr. Mercedes, which is the first one, and I think I'm gonna love this one as well. I can't tell you anything about it or the blurb or anything because it does spoil the events of the first book, but I can tell you that I'm really excited, and I'm gonna spend most of the day reading this book, and I'll see how far I get into it, and then we'll be done with the series and we'll be moving on to another series. I'm back. I didn't actually update you whilst I was reading End of Watch because I read it in one sitting. I finished this book, I rated it 4 stars. It was feeling like a 3.5 for a lot of it, and then the ending made me sob. Like, not just a few tears, sob. So like, if a book can make me feel that many emotions, it's gonna higher the rating. I rated this 4 stars. I thought it was I didn't want it to end that way, but it was so impactful that it did. And I guess that's one series finished in this video. I have decided that this video is going to be Stephen King themed. This is not technically a series, but I feel like this is really fitting for this video. This is the Bachman books. When you buy it now, it only has 3 stories in it because one of his stories is out of print. This is an original version with all 4 stories in it, and it's basically 4 books that he wrote under a pseudonym name called Richard Bachman. But it is by Stephen King, and like, Stephen King revealed that he is Richard Bachman in an amazing way. I could talk about this for so long, but yeah, this is by Stephen King, and there are 4 books in this one big one. I have read 2 of them, and I'm gonna read the remaining 2 in this video. So technically I'm not finishing a series, but I'm finishing a huge chunky book that I feel like these are, even though they don't connect with each other, I feel like I should count it as a series. So the 4 books in here are Rage, which is the banned book, which I read, and then The Long Walk, which I read and loved. And the 2 remaining books are Roadwork and The Running Man. Roadwork, I've heard a lot of people say it's his most boring book, so I think I'm going to audiobook that one. It's about a guy who owns, I think it's like a laundry company, and the city wants to build a motorway through where his building is, and he's like protesting and refusing to let them demolish it. And in true Stephen King fashion, I have a feeling it's gonna go crazy and he's gonna like go murderous and insane or something. I have a feeling it's gonna be a lot more than just petitioning. And then the 4th book is The Running Man, which is like, it's set in the future, and I've had it's like Hunger Games-esque, where I will read you what the back says. TV's future favourite game show where contestants are hunted to death in the attempt to win a $1 billion jackpot. That sounds crazy good. It kind of sounds like Hunger Games-esque, where like if you're the last in the arena you get $1 billion, and they're all trying to kill each other. I don't know if it's in an arena or not, but I am super excited. So obviously the first one I'm going to be reading is Roadwork. I'm going to get the audiobook up because if it's boring, the audiobook is going to help me get through it. As much as I love Stephen King, if so many Stephen King fans are saying that this is a book they didn't like, I'm inclined to just want to get through it and have low expectations, but who knows, it might surprise me. So that's what I'm gonna get started on. It is the evening. I have quite a lot of free time. It is not even 7:30 yet, so who knows, I could maybe get this whole book done. I think on its own, if it wasn't in this bind up, it's like 400 pages, which is actually very short on Stephen King standards. So I don't know how long it's going to take me, but I'll keep you updated. Oh my god, was the road work not good. This book was so boring. It was such a slog to get through. I rated it 2 stars. There was no need for that to be 400 pages. It could have been an 100-page novella and still would have been too long. Nothing happened. I love you, Stephen King, but if I'd written that, I would have written it under a pseudonym name too, because I would not want that attached to my name. Nothing happened at all until the last 5 pages. It was like, why did we read 400 pages of build up just for this? We knew this was going to happen from the beginning. Ugh, I didn't like it. And honestly, I don't want to finish this book right now, but the whole point of this is finishing series I'm in the middle of, so at least we only have one more to go in this one. It's called The Running Man and it's set in the future, but it was written in the 70s and the future it's set in is, I think, 2021. So it will probably be interesting to see how accurate or not accurate 2021 from a 1970s perspective is. I honestly think I'm going to take a break for a few days and film another video, and then I'll get back to you guys when I'm back in the mood to read it. So, not quite going as planned, but oh well. Oh my god, I'm so tired. I actually did end up pretty much, I think I had like a day, and then I went straight into The Running Man because, I don't know, it's like I'm so close to the end. I am about halfway through it now, and I'm not loving it. This is so sad. What is going on with the lighting? This is really sad for me because I love Stephen King so much. I've never rated a book of his before this video under like 3.5 stars, and then we had a 3-star and a 2-star, and this is looking like it might be between a 2 and a 3. So it's actually set in 2025, I'm pretty sure. Not 2021 like I thought, but still. So it is technically not set in a world that's already happened in real life, but like we're pretty close, and it's not accurate in a lot of ways, but also it is accurate. The pollution is definitely a lot worse and sped up in this book, and it does feel a lot more dystopian, but in a lot of ways with like the poverty and stuff in this book, it's pretty accurate. But then like in our real life, we are not going to the extents that they are in this. So basically he is on the run, and if he lasts 30 days without being caught, he gets $1 billion. But he's literally like, it's not in an arena like the Hunger Games like I thought, it's just in the world, and like he has to send out 2 tapes every day by post, and like they're gonna track him because they're gonna know where the tapes have come from. So they're like reporting on the news, like, if you see this man, we want him dead or alive. Like, it's getting so dystopian, and I don't know if he's gonna make it out, to be honest. Like, Stephen King would do that. He would just kill him off at the end. I think I'm gonna try and finish it today. I am puppy sitting 4 dogs. 3 of them are mine, so it's fine. And Pepsi, she's like 10.5, she's fine. Then I got my 2 pups, who are Cray Cray, and then I've got my nan's new pup, Willow, who will not stop biting and trying to play with my pups, and then getting scared when they actually try and play back. So it's gonna be crazy because it's just me. But I am gonna get this up on audio, and like when they're tiring themselves out and napping, I'm gonna listen. I feel like every clip in this vlog has been in the same place, but hey, this is my bed and I like to be comfy. I finished The Running Man. I have given it a rating of 2.5 stars because a lot more happened in it than Roadwork. Didn't really like it that much more, but hey, at least the ending was how I thought it was gonna go, and I wasn't disappointed by the ending. I'm definitely in that mood where I like I've said so many times, I read Stephen King books in chunks, like 5 at a time, and then not for another couple months. I think that was my 6th book in a row that I've just finished by him, and I'm definitely ready for a break. The last 2 have not hit. And also the fact I made this video Stephen King themed has really limited it, because he doesn't have too many series and I'm not in the middle of any more. I mean, like, the Bachman books was even a stretch to call it a series. But this is definitely a shorter video, but this is the end of the video. We have technically finished 2 more series I was in the middle of. The Bachman books is not a series. Don't get it confused if you're wanting to read them. You can definitely read them out of order. They're not connected at all. But I needed to stretch what series meant so that this video could be themed. I think I want to make another reading vlog where I continue series I'm in the middle of, because there are so many series I'm loving and I want to carry on with, but there's like 5 books left in the series, and if I read that in a vlog it would take up the whole vlog. So I think the next video like this I'm going to do is not going to have a theme, so it's not just going to be one author, and I'm going to continue a bunch of series I'm in the middle of, so maybe not necessarily finish any, but make more progress with ones I've already started, and I think that will be a fun concept. But that's everything for this video. It was a shorter one, like I said, but expect some longer ones coming soon, because I think I want to get started on that next idea straight away, and that video can have no time limit, kind of. We can just carry on with books. So that will be coming soon. If you're interested, click the notification bell down below to see when it's uploaded. If you'd like to see more from me, please be sure to like and subscribe, as I post new videos every single week. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you in another video. Bye!